How,
Hey, Beth.
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good.
That's awesome. I watched That's a Wrap the other day. Absolutely loved it.
Oh, good. Good. It's
Um,
a fun movie.
it really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Um, so kind of just jumping right into my with my first question. What are people in for?
I think people are going to be in for a fun time. I think, we're all accustomed to horror movies that are scary and all of that. This one is just unbridled fun from start to finish. The kills are fun. They're done with humor. There's a lot of humor in the movie. I think that this is just I always go back to the word fun.
I have to agree with you on that. It really. And how did you become involved with the project?
I met Joe Netter socially a number of years ago, him and Sarah French, and loved them both right off the bat. And, they've known about my work for a number of years. And he wrote this with me in mind for this role. He has long wanted to create a character like Lily. And so he sort of had me in mind when he created this role and just came to me with it and said, "Hey, we got this thing. Think you might like it." He's like, "I was glad you were involved because I didn't have a plan B." So
Oh,
that was really fun.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
How did it feel hearing that that role was meant for you?
Delicious. It felt, I wasn't sure when I started the script. It's like you hear that and you're like, "Oh, okay, well, what does that mean when you start the script?" And it's like, "Okay, yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Oh, oh, okay. Now it's really fun."
Oh yeah. And after seeing the film in its entirety, I agree that delicious is probably a very appropriate word for.
Yeah, yeah.
And Lily is an actress. With you being an actress, what's it like playing an actress?
It was really interesting because so many times I have to, when I've got a character that I'm developing, I have to take myself down this long journey of like, okay, if this were my life and I were living it and I made this turn and this turn, how do I get to where the character is? And it's one of those where it's all so close. It's I had to get out of my own way and not put up roadblocks, because as actors sometimes we put up roadblocks. It's like, oh, I don't want to feel that, that's a little too close. So all of it was really, really close, which was both scary and cathartic.
Um, I kind of want to like dive into that a little bit more of was there any part of yourself that you brought to the role?
I brought so much of myself to the role. I have experienced so many things that Lily has, and variations of what Lily has. The long unfaithful husband, the being shoved aside and passed over. It's amazing to me as I have gotten older, and it wasn't even when I went gray hair. It started. I still was dyeing my hair, but I noticed sometime in my mid 40s, men stopped seeing me. And I don't mean they stopped seeing me as a woman. They stopped acknowledging that I existed as a human being.
Oh,
And that's really weird with coworkers. You're on a film and there's a guy who's my same age. We should just be peers. And he will literally look right past me and ignore me and not even speak to me. It's
hmm.
amazing how we as women are treated and how we just like, you don't exist. There will be reviews of movies that I've done where they completely don't even mention me. I'm like, how did you not? I was like, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, the villain in this piece was so and so. And it's like, no, she was just a pawn. It's kind of crazy to see how women are shoved aside as we age. And I think Lily is experiencing a lot of that. And well, Monique is also experiencing a lot of that.
Yeah, your dialogue is spectacular, and it's kind of monologue like a little bit when
Yes.
she's expressing all of those feelings. What's it like performing a monologue in a movie?
It's and Joe writes some big monologues. Joe Netter likes a monologue, and it I come from film, so it or come from film. I come from theater. So it feels very much like doing theater. And in that moment, it felt very theatrical, particularly because my dress was very, very long. And I suddenly realized that I couldn't move very well without getting twisted up in my skirts during that monologue.
Uh,
So that forced me to just stay in one place and play the light, which is, of course, what an actor does, and just to take that, she's not just a woman speaking, she's also an actress, and there is a performative aspect. And it was lovely to be able to play with that because being a theatrical person, I'm always being told a little less, a little less, a little less. And it was nice to just have a big moment.
yeah. um and especially with that ending, um incredible, incredible.
Yeah, that ending. I was very nervous about that ending. I was really, and the director helped me a lot with that ending. I really wasn't sure what to do, where to take it. And I asked Marcel for some guidance, and he just gave me a couple of quick notes that made all the difference.
Nice, nice. What was it like working with him?
Marcel is terrific. This was the first film that I had worked with Marcel. Do you mind if I take a moment and put a fan on?
Oh no, go
Will
for it.
this go up terribly? Sorry.
Yeah, go for it.
Running warm all the time. Um, Marcel is incredibly visual, and that works for me because I am also incredibly visual. So when he talks about the way something, and he's all about how something looks, and you'll be just about to start a scene, and all of a sudden it'll go, wait, and he'll come running in and he'll adjust something or flip something. There, go. So he's very visual, but he's also very giving in that he allows you as an actor to do your thing, to bring what he hires the right people and then allows them to create, and then gives notes as needed. But he really, very few actors give you, very few directors give you so much room to just exist, take over the space, do what you want, be who you want, and he's there to capture it. Marcus Friedlander, our DP, is terrific with that as well, because they will shoot two cameras and they'll help us, we'll sort of, once they figure out where we're going to be, they just let us do our thing.
That's awesome.
It is.
And it also helps that you got to play off of some really amazing actors as well, especially Sarah French.
French is
So like
incredible.
working with them.
Oh, Sarah French is me a number of years ago, except she's more badass. I was never as badass as Sarah. Sarah is terrific in this role. She's terrific in every role, but I loved my scenes with her. I felt like we had so much rapport, the young up and coming actress and the older leading lady who is now stepping aside or being pushed aside. And sort of we passed the torch along in the scene where we're sitting and having the drinks together. I feel like this torch is sort of passed along, but also unwillingly.
Yeah, it was nice to see the like you get it, but the tension between the two
Yeah,
type of
yeah,
feeling.
yeah.
Um, Throughout the whole film, I really loved the juxtaposition between the classic Hollywood and like the new up and coming Hollywood.
Yeah.
especially in the film itself. There were a lot of callbacks to classic horror films. Um,
Mhm.
was there a callback that was your favorite?
I loved the whole Sunset Boulevard-ness of my character. There were so many callbacks that were terrific. The psycho shower scene. We've got so many
My
Scream
favorite.
references. And is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's terrific. And so there's so many callbacks, but I really loved mine being very Norma Desmond.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Um, ultimately, what are you most excited for people to see with this film?
You know, horror fans are super dedicated and they're super savvy. I mean, horror fans are savvy about horror in ways that regular fans can't understand. They know when you use the wrong blood. It's like, no, this should have been this thing. This prosthetic was wrong. I mean, they're very, very savvy. Um, I hope that our horror fans can relax and enjoy and just have fun. Sometimes I think horror fans are so caught up in the gore and all of that that they're not having fun. And I want them to have fun. I want them to enjoy the roller coaster. I mean, Joe and Marcel worked so hard to take people on an emotional journey within this, you know, laughing and screaming and all of that. We want to get a lot of emotions going. And I love how you can be tension, 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 and then all of a sudden you're cracking up and then back into tension.
Yeah,
I love that screaming, laughing. And I just hope people enjoy the ride.
I'm sure they will. I definitely did.
Oh, good.
Um, before I let you go, are there any other projects coming up that you're allowed to talk about?
Yeah, I have another project that I did with the same crew. We
Oh,
just did another film called Garden of Eden, and it is so different from That's a Wrap. It is a complete 180. You're not going to be getting laughs in Garden of Eden. You're going to be getting like emotionally devastated. Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, people are not ready. And we had so much fun doing that. It's like, oh, how can we make this even worse? How can we make this even more twisted? Everybody layered on their own opinions and it really grew from that.
That's really interesting that you took so much joy in making something so dark.
Yeah. It's like anytime you're like, oh, what would make this more wrong? I'm in.
Well, I can't wait. Is that expected to come out this year or in the next
Um,
couple of years?
I think they're hoping to do it this year, but probably not until getting something out October. That's fingers crossed. Fingers
Always,
crossed we can do that.
always. Um, awesome. Um, if there isn't anything else that you'd like to add about That's a Wrap,
Um,
that's probably
no, I think I want people to just, it's a low budget movie. It's a no budget movie. Um, you can still make horror movies on very low budgets. And you can make them on top budgets. You can make them on no budgets. And it's the heart and soul. And I think that people are going to really enjoy this as an homage to Hollywood, as an homage to all the horror films have come before, to all the people in the community. I think a lot of people who make horror movies are going to see themselves or people they know in this movie. And that's going to be a lot of fun.
for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for chatting. Again, I love the movie.
So glad to hear it. I loved making it.
Awesome. You have a great rest of your day.
You too.